We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks!
In 5, 4, 3.
'Twas the week after the Super Bowl, on a cold Valentine's Day. Two men host a podcast and swear they're not gay.
What's gay mean? It means you used to be afraid, but now you're not. I'm gay, Daddy! I'm gay!
One man who is single cheers for Guelph, who is last.
We finally won a game this weekend in Guelph, so yay for that.
The other cheers for Windsor and chugs Keith's from a glass.
Perfect. Oh my God, it's perfect. World Juniors for Belleville. Let's get that hashtag going.
The jerseys were laid out and selected with care, as Brian fought urges to constantly swear.
Fucking pothead. Ah, fuck it. Fuck Jens fan. Blow me. You didn't vote for the Marxist-Leninist Party?
They normally record and edit and pre-tape, but tonight they go live, so no jokes about rape.
Good luck in your 2 sexual assault trials, buddy. Go Spits.
And for a special night, a special guest on the show. From Rogers Sportsnet, we have Sam Cosentino.
Speaking of a fun, exciting young team to watch, how about the Kingston Frontenacs? It's been 20 years since the Frontenacs have made it past the first round. This is the perfect start. RJ, you want to feed off the crowd, you want to energize the crowd. There's 2 ways to do it. You can throw a big hit or you can do this here.
So send us your feedback and tweet us your questions. There won't be many listeners. We promise you'll get mentioned. So here, live for the first time, are the boys at long last. It's Steve and Brian on the OHL Fanboys podcast.
Are you tired of hearing opinions from experts and people who do it for a living?
Shut up and get to the point!
It's the OHL Fanboys podcast. Weekly recaps, trade rumors, jersey talk, and some special guests. All things you can probably do without.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.
Too bad it's a podcast. Welcome to the 21st century, and welcome to another episode of OHL Fanboys with Steve McLean and Brian Thompson.
Boys Live with special guest Sam Cosentino.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 21 of the OHL Fanboys Podcast, a special live edition from Toast Manor in Windsor, Ontario. I am Steve McLean. With me is Brian Thompson, who's already... How many beers in are you, Brian?
A gentleman never asked.
Oh, jeez. We got how many lined up?
Shut up!
Ah, there you go. We're live, sir.
Whose idea was this?
Yours, I think.
Was I drunk?
Yes.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Cheers, everyone!
Oh, it's Sunday night. Whole bunch of OHL games this weekend.
There's no new Walking Deads on tonight, so
No,
don't worry.
Don't change over
The
to
Bachelor
Walking
is
Dead.
not on tonight. You don't have to worry about that. Nothing. Vinyl's not even premiering on HBO tonight. So we're the only game in town. It's us and some like round ball thing in Toronto. That's what, cancer for
Who
charity.
cares
thing.
about All-Star games? We've had this discussion on the podcast multiple times this year.
Yeah, and plus there's no white guys on the All-Star game there.
Okay, we've already started with that talk. Jeez. So, while we were setting up for all this today, we had the fortunate task of watching the Spitfires lose again on
Shut up!
Sportsnet.
What are you starting it like this for?
And Brian takes another drink, everybody. At least they scored a goal today.
Fuck you.
The wind, Guelph Storm didn't do you guys any favors this weekend, though, losing to Sarnia.
No, we're pretty fucked now because Sarnia finally caught up, and there's no real... I shouldn't say there's no hope in the Spitfires coming back. There's still like 15 games to play and all, but the past 4 years have taught me to never be optimistic. But how's things in Guelph land, buddy?
Let's see. Last 2 nights we lost 6-2 and 5-1. so drove all the way to Barrie last night to see that. We got scored on twice in 26 seconds on the same shorthanded kill. Go Guelph Storm.
And before we start getting into the questions, we want to pour one out, not literally because this is my kitchen.
These
and
are laptops.
Yeah. Poor Mike Amadio.
Yeah.
Poor Mike Amadio.
New Battalion franchise record was set last night. Mike Amadio scored 5 goals for the North Bay Battalion. That has never been done in their 18-year history of North Bay and Brampton. And they still lost.
How do you score 5 goals for your team and your team lets you down and score 6? Like, everyone owes him a case.
When they have one of the best goalies in the league, and Jake Smith as well. I don't know. I wasn't watching the game, but I heard about it after.
Unacceptable, especially to Kingston.
So, here's to you, Mike Amadio.
Shall we take some questions?
I think it's about time to take some questions. The people have been asking for a while. So
tweet us using the hashtag FanboysLive, all one word. We will answer all your goddamn questions, I promise you. What?
Just so unnecessary swearing. I think that's like all of your goddamn questions, but you know what? I think people expect that from us, and if you don't expect that, you know what? Here's the thing: we've done so much promotion for this. I hope there's some people who are like, "Ooh, let's watch these young lads do something. Let's gather the children around the YouTubes and." Motherfucker, we'll do it live. Fuck it. Just fuck it. So welcome everyone. Watch it with your kids.
We're going to start off with whoever tweeted the earliest one. So that goes all the way out to Scotty Mayo, who's, by the way, your avatar photo of the shitty Canada diagonal jersey. Change it, dude. I hate that fucking jersey. He asks us, should there be a limit of U.S. players on teams?
I mean, touchy subject. In the end, I'm going to say no.
How can you have a limit when you have 3 American teams?
Exactly. That's the problem.
Stupid question.
We're starting off great. First person. Your question sucked. Your question was bad, and you should feel bad. Anyway,
May God have mercy on your soul.
That'll make you all want to ask us more, right? If we just harass you constantly for the next hour, let's do that.
Bradley Panther. I hope I'm saying that right, because Panther, that's a sweet
Steel
last
Panther,
name.
That's a good band.
What is your best OHL memory over the years? Steve-O, I'll let you go with that one first.
I mean, obviously, being a Guelph Storm fan.
Let's hold on. Let's make this more difficult. We both had championship teams.
Yeah.
Non-championship.
Because someone else asked that question, too.
Yeah, non-championship.
Non-championship moment. Give me a second to think about this. But, I mean, I got to say, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
This doesn't, but does this count?
No.
Being on TV.
We are definitely not affiliated with the OHL in any regard whatsoever.
Legal disclaimer right here, right now.
No purchase necessary.
I don't know if our producer can put that up. This is no affiliation with the OHL. And blah, blah, blah. Anyway, no. My coolest moment, non-championship. I mean,
best memory. It doesn't have to be coolest moment.
Best memory. I mean, we met each other. We're not.
You fucked up my birthday.
I did.
Piece of shit.
I was telling someone on the way down about that, and about the day we met at the barn, and you said I had no interest in you because I don't know, I guess it wasn't flirting enough.
It wasn't, and I offered, a place to stay.
It was your birthday?
It was my birthday.
Yeah. No, honestly, game moment, I'd have to say there was a Brampton road trip I went on years ago. I've told this story, I think, before, but we won in Saginaw one night. It was my first trip there. The next night we won in Plymouth the night that Mike Vellucci went total apeshit, threw his tie around. Brampton blew a 3-goal lead with a few minutes to go. Plymouth tied it. They should have won the game, and we just had one good rush, and Cody Hodgson put it up in you couldn't get more top corner than he did. And there was 3 of us there, I think, that night. 4 of us from Brampton that night.
Which is the total Brampton audience.
But anyway, the whole team gave us a stick salute as they left the ice, which was for 4 people. That's kind of cool. Or sad, I don't know.
Mine's appropriate because this week is Mickey Reno week. On Thursday will be the 8th year anniversary of his death. And I've always said my favorite Spitfires team is that team that played for like 6 weeks after his death in the playoffs. And there was a game in Saginaw right towards the end of the season because we had like 10 games in hand on Kitchener fighting for playoffs, or the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, fighting for our division. And so 10 games in hand with like 4 weeks left in the season was pretty crazy. We catch up to them, and then we have a pivotal road game, our last road game of the year in Saginaw. And So there's a fan bus of us, and we bring my dad, and my dad gets totally trashed. It was really funny. And it just so happened to be Faith Night at the Saginaw Arena. And beautifully, they come up to us, and we're just ragging on Daniels was the goalie. Hopefully his first name was Jack. I think it was Greg, though. And we're just Ryan.
Ryan Daniels.
Was it Ryan Daniels? I thought it was Greg Daniels.
Check our
It was
producer.
Ryan Daniels. our OHL fact checker Ben Dyken says it is Ryan Daniels. But anyways, we're just ragging on going, Daniels sucks, because you're supposed to get on the goalie. Some youth minister comes up to us and he's like, hey man, we supported you when your captain died. You should be nice to us and our goalie. And my dad goes, get the fuck out of my face now. And we won in overtime. Taylor Hall scored with like less than a second left to tie it, and that game was a total miracle. And we ended up tying the Greyhounds, but the Greyhounds, even though we had the better head-to-head record, they had more regulation wins, so they ended up getting the 2 seed. We got the 3 seed actually, and they ran out of gas. But that was my best memory.
I'm surprised we've gotten through a year and a half of this show and you've never told that story before.
No,
not on here anyway.
No, that was a crazy, crazy game, and yeah, I don't tell it much because my dad doesn't like when I talk when he's.
Someone wants us to chug.
Who?
That'd be Chris
Beachley.
Chris at Chris B8686. Oh, I don't know if I can chug and finish this.
That's all. I don't know you people a fucking show.
There you go. You got a drink out of us. We have a celebrity tweeter from Sportsnet.
Nate Sager.
Nate Sager, come on. Thank you. If we get a Kingston Sarnia final, will they finish the series before the apocalypse, Brian?
Ooh,
that's a tough one. I'm putting my money in on God on that one.
I usually do go with God, but
Black and Yellow
we already went through the big apocalypse in 2012, did we not? Wasn't it December 21st, 2012 was supposed to be the end of the world and everyone was wrong?
But I'm sure religious zealots have a new one.
Is there a new one?
I don't know.
See,
there probably is.
I should spend more time paying attention to that. I haven't been paying attention to new apocalypse stuff. I would say yes. Kingston one day will make the fucking final. I don't know if it'll be a 3-team league or something, but...
Okay, this is a pretty easy one, I think, for both of us to answer. Ivan Arbor asks us, which is the best player you've seen for each of your teams? Brian.
Ryan Ellis.
I thought you were going to say Taylor Hall.
He's the best Spitfire, but the best pure player that I knew was just going to make the NHL and be the best was Ryan Ellis. I've never seen a defenseman like him, and any comparison to Bobby Orr is totally just in my league for best OHL defenseman ever.
Fair enough. I'll do a Guelph and Brampton one, I guess. I mean, with Brampton, the guy who turned out to be the best player was probably Matt Duchene. He's tearing it up in the NHL right now, but I mean, I still have a soft spot for Cody Hodgson, even though he's not even playing anymore. He got waived by Nashville. In his OHL day, he was magnificent bastard. I'll tell you what, 16 points in 6 World Junior games that one year. So led the tournament in scoring.
Is James McLean your brother?
No, that'd be my father.
Oh, hi. You're responsible for this.
What did my dad ask?
Hey, Steve, I'm very disappointed in you. I see Fabry is doing well. Who do you think is the best prospect in the OHL this year to make the step? I don't know what
step next. I think he's asking what.
Translate for your father.
I think he's asking, who do we think is going to make the leap next year to the NHL from the OHL?
Oh, from this year's crop?
Yeah. And not necessarily in the draft this year, but who's drafted already?
Oh, Mitch Marner.
Mitch Marner?
Mitch Marner. That fucking goal, man. I hate the Knights and everything, but Christ almighty. How many buttons do you have to press on NHL 16 to even attempt that fucking goal?
That's a replica of the Datsuit controller, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You ever see the opposite of those ones where controller unplugged?
No.
It's these great videos of Ovechkin and stuff, and they put the little marker over him when he just doesn't try and just drifts. And they'll be like, oh, Xbox controller unplugged. And there's Ovechkin going, ooh. But it's real videos of him playing.
That's good. Oh, geez. We actually have some listeners tonight.
Matt Parks. Bigger killer of talent, multiple concussions, or George Burnett? Ooh.
Next question.
That's a wash.
Oh, there's so many coming in right now, right? It's hard to keep
Darius Dominguez. Am I saying that right? Oh, you can't ask me. What the fuck am I asking for? We know Steve's first ever OHL game was at Hershey Center. But where was Brian's? Where do you think it was? It was at Windsor Arena.
The barn.
I don't remember specifically what my first Spitfires game was. The first memory I have of a Spitfires game was either the 91 or 92 playoffs. We were playing Kitchener, and it was a Sunday 2 p.m. game. And I remember going to the barn, and when you're little going to the barn, it's just like, oh my God, the size of this place. Now you go to it as an adult, and it's like, oh, it's actually a really tiny rink. But back then it was like, whoa, this place is cavernous, it's massive. And I'm like, why does that team have the New York Rangers logo? This is really fucking weird. So I got myself a Kitchener Rangers puck because I'm like, hey, maybe they're related to the New York Rangers. Sure enough, they were, kinda. And I think Windsor lost. I don't really remember, but I just remember loving the barn. And I thought it was like the coolest place ever. So yeah, there's the answer to that.
King of Strong Style, his actual handles.
Shinsuke Nakamura is messaging us?
At Matt_Mondays. If you guys wanted to travel to any arena in the world, which one would it be? Brian, that would be
any arena in the world. I want to do the Ventons Arena or in Davos. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but wherever they play the Spengler Cup, they have fucking wooden benches there and wooden penalty boxes. The penalty boxes look like a Swedish bathhouse. They're just, that arena is so trippy, natural lighting and all that stuff. The tournament is garbage.
You heard it here. Brian wants to visit a male bathhouse. That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't.
I don't want to
domestic? I can't think of any because they're closing down all the old rinks. Yeah. So maybe I'd want to go to Northlands Coliseum, but.
I mean, well, yeah, that's about to close. The Joe's closing soon. They released
Thank
a patch.
Fuck.
And technically, we can talk about that because it's a former OHL arena. Right?
Yeah, they didn't put up a star for the Junior Red Wings title on that patch.
No, they did not.
Shame on you, Mr. I.
I would say my arena that I'd want to visit, I don't know the actual name of it. Is it the Boston College Arena? Where it's built in like the 1920s and they actually have 2 decks
Northeastern University.
Yeah, that's a great looking arena.
Matthews Arena.
Matthews Arena, thank you.
But if you want to go to a really cool one for architecture, go to the one in Yale because it's called a whale. And it's actually got like a whale's tail for the design. Go look at it on Wikipedia.
Well, the other one I was going to mention too, I think they just call it the Globe in Stockholm. It looks like a golf ball.
Yeah, but it's just a ball. What's awesome about a ball?
It'll just be cool to see.
I can find a ball around here for you if you think.
I have a ball of ice in this thing. Okay.
Steve is easily impressed. Shane Gallant says, what is your take on Cam Dineen winning Rookie of the Month back-to-back and being ranked so low by Central Scouting? I'll let you handle this.
Well, obviously, Central Scouting hates the northern teams, right? That's the usual.
Because they don't want to make the drive.
Yeah, exactly. Why go up there? And why should they really?
Fuck Central Scouting.
No, Cam Dineen, I've seen him several times. Why is he ranked by Central Scouting? You'd have to ask the guys from Central Scouting. I haven't seen him enough myself to justify why he might be so much lower or higher. I should get the action pack, I guess. I don't know. Hockeystreams.com died, or .net, whatever it was. So, rest in peace. Where's our black armbands?
After the Beyonce thing, I didn't think it was appropriate that we wear any stuff like that. Okay. We didn't want to get angry tweets at us.
Well,
Nate asked us an excellent question. When does Belleville get back in the OHL? Well, David Branch is still alive.
And he's not yet accepted our invitation to come on this show.
I don't see it happening for a while just because Belleville's a small town, man. They don't want to... They've talked about upgrading the Yardman, but you would have to have a situation like, no offense, Plymouth, where a team is just so dire for fans and they got to move out of there that anything else would be better, like Flint was. And how's that going? So they would probably just move them to Belleville instead, but I don't see that happening. The league's really strong now.
Okay, I got one for you, Brian. This one comes from Chelsea Gold at Chelsea _. Okay.
She likes tea.
Yeah.
That's her thing.
Which current Spitfire best embodies the spirit of Brian Soso?
That's a tough one. We haven't had one since Nick Zinder.
Nick Zinder.
For those who don't get the joke, Brian Soso was a big body who was the most I shouldn't say useless, because, like I said, even the worst OHL player is 20 times better than us.
We'll admit it.
But, like, that's a big fucking shock. But player, I guess it would say the player who doesn't try and doesn't deserve to be on the team. I can't really say one this year, which is odd, because usually I can name 20 Spitfires that I don't think should be on the team. So, none to you.
Oh, there you go.
When will OHL fanboys trend, Bobby Murray? Never. We don't ever want to be popular. We want to remain hip to the scene, stay signed to our indie labels, and never get big, never get too mainstream, man.
Every time I try and tell people who just watch NHL about the OHL, I kind of feel like a hipster hockey douchebag.
I don't. I actually tell them to stay away. It's mine.
Oh, there you go.
Don't fucking come in here and because I hated that. Once we got the new arena and all these fans started showing, it's like, fuck you. You didn't suffer through Corey McGillis like I did. You didn't have to suffer through terrible arena fogs like I did. Go to hell.
They can still go to Sudbury for arena fog.
You think you can just park near the arena? It's okay. We used to have to find crazy parking downtown. You don't know my struggles, man.
Man. Daniel Hamilton. Oh, wait, this one's for me. Why don't you ask it then? Or did you have it up
You just fucking shut up and ask it.
Okay, someone's asking me, what do you think of Guelph's prospects in the coming years? Nate Schnarr is the one name that keeps coming up over and over and over. He plays for the Junior B Waterloo Siskins. He's played actually a few games for the Guelph Storm this year.
You're not pimping the Siskins, are you? Is this a Sebastian thing?
I guess we should we tie in OvertimeSportsNation.com?
They're our lovely sponsors.
Yes, our friend Sebastian works for them. But no, like Nate Schnarr is actually a great player, and I've seen him play in the OHL the couple games he's played in. He's but he's still mainly in Junior B. I think he's going to be a great player for us next year.
Someone is tweeting from their sled in Azilda, Ontario.
Where the hell is that?
I'm not loading up Google Maps. From my sled in Azilda, Ontario, with the Belleville move to Hamilton, how do you see realignment in 2016-17? I don't. Because, fuck it, they'll just leave it the way it is. I don't think the Ottawa people are bitching too much that they got to make that drive. And really, they're the only ones that are put out too much. Like, what's Kingston to Hamilton? 3 hours?
Something like that. I'm looking up where the hell
it's fucking 6 hours from Windsor to Sault Ste. Marie, and they're in the same division. They've been in the same division for a long time. I don't think they're going to change it, because honestly, for every time I hear all this talk about realignment, it's as good as it's going to get, man, until you go to a 20-team table.
There's no perfect system with geographically where the 20 current cities are.
Did you load it? Where is this?
Yeah, Azilda, by the way, it looks to be just northwest of Sudbury.
Fuck.
Someone's on their sled out there right now.
Is he trapped?
I don't know. Are we supposed to send a search party?
Because really, you shouldn't be tweeting us if you need help, sir. In which we insult all our fanboy fans' locations.
At Mr. DB, David H. Bradley asked Brian, fun subject for Brian. OHL has handed out 326 game suspensions and 6 are pending, more than the Q and W combined. Comments?
Oh, I was going to say, is there a question?
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a question.
In the NFL, they call it the ginger hammer. I don't know what the equivalent of David Branch would be, but yeah.
Branch Justice. Nate and I already, have you ever sent the Gumble to Gumble before?
Gumbly to Gumbly.
Taste that. That's the taste of Branch Justice. Cheers. Hashtag Branch Justice, everyone. We've been told to Google pictures of Alfond Arena in Orono, Maine.
No. It's a trap.
That's from Todd Faber.
It's gonna end up being goatsy pictures. I'm not falling for that shit. But no. What was the original about why we hand out more suspensions? Because David Branch has always been more on the progressive side, and he goes for bigger suspensions for shit than he hands out 10-game suspensions like they're fucking candy. And especially in a 68-game season, 10 games is a fucking lot. That's like 3 weeks,
standard
man.
Now.
I get it's a new standard, but it's still a lot of goddamn games. And so when you're going to send your kid away to, the kid's from Peterborough and he gets drafted to play for Guelph, and you're going to hand out a 10-game suspension, that's 3 fucking weeks, man, that you're going to have a kid living away from home, going to school and shit, but he can't. I assume they can still practice with the team, but they can't. play games. And it's like, why is my kid that far away from home if he's not playing? And yeah, they can go to the Shanna Band video and say, well, this is the reason why, and all the rule books and all that crap. But still, if you're going to be handing out as frequently as you are.
Besides the barn, what no longer used OHL arena do you miss the most? I mean, it hasn't been gone long, but the Yardmen, come on. I miss the Yardmen already.
I miss the Yardmen. I also miss St. Mike's Arena. St. Mike's Arena was this quaint-ass little place where I only saw 2 games there, and one of them was against London. And I'm like, why is the most amazing team in junior hockey playing in this not even junior C rink? It's just really funny to watch them like go down 3 pegs, and it's almost like they had to play this game. They didn't want to, and it should be better. But then again, the arena was so shit. Didn't they move home games to like Ottawa when they were playing 67s?
Well, yeah, because Eugene Melnick owned the St. Mike's at the time.
How's he doing? He had to have that like emergency.
He's alive.
Is he? Good for him.
I heard he was doing well. Someone's complimenting you on your frog. We went to Dollarama for our decoration.
Fuck yeah, Dollarama.
Plug for them.
Also a proud sponsor.
Brian, what team's going to surprise us in the playoffs the most this year? That comes from Shane Gallant.
Kingston. No.
They're gotta win a series, right? Come on. No, they have to.
I think here's the problem with saying surprises. Go look in the history of all these brackets. When are you seeing any upsets in series ever? And I mean, by upset, I mean a 3 can't beat a 2, or a 2 can't beat a 1. It has to be at least 2 different digits. It's been how long?
Oh, God.
Forever?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to really reach for something like that. I think Sault Ste. Marie's strong enough they could pull an upset in round 1, but again, they got to beat one of the elite Midwestern teams. So, yeah, I'll just go with Kingston because it'd be a surprise because they're normally pretty shit.
I mean, would Sarnia be a surprise, or would Windsor be a surprise to beat any of those top 3 in the West, I guess?
Yeah.
The actual top 3. The team that's listed in second really isn't second. Remember that, people.
Well, sometimes.
Someone in the chat on YouTube wants...
We have a fucking chat?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Someone wants
We've been ignoring a lot of questions.
Right now. Yeah.
I don't have a Kyle Nechtel. I have a lot of goalie gamers, and Kyle Nechtel is not one. I could have had one, but fuck that.
I'm wearing a goalie gamer right now. Justin Nichols represent.
Shut up, Steve.
Yeah. How long we've been on 27 minutes since the first time you told me to shut up. That's a record, I think.
You know, I wore Valentine's colors to you. Did you have to wear a fucking Storm jersey today?
I was mad you didn't wear a Spitz jersey. I thought we were repping our home team.
It's Valentine's Day.
It is Valentine's Day.
If we're going to neglect our women's, we gotta at least dress the part.
Shout out to them, by the way.
Yeah, they're in the living room being neglected.
Mm-hmm.
They know what they did. God, there's a chat room.
Yeah, there is a chat room.
Let's go, Steelheads. Get the fuck out of my chat.
We do have another question from hashtag Fanboys Live. How many beers until you admit Branch favors London when suspensions are involved? That comes from Keith Kelly.
0. I don't.
I wholeheartedly endorse this event or product. No, seriously, like, we can sit here now. We could give the people what they want and yell, fuck London.
I don't hate Dave Branch.
But, did they really get favorable treatment? Maybe.
Does Brian maybe have a drinking problem? Maybe.
I don't know. Brian's wife is in the room. Maybe we should ask her.
No, she knows.
No, she knows. But a couple things going on this weekend in the OHL. Coming into this week, the Niagara Ice Dogs were pimping out this, you can't miss what's going to go on in the second intermission. Why are people waving at us? Trying to
My best friend's an asshole.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, we've been distracted finally.
He's got this theory that on Valentine's Day, women need to give up anal. And he wants me to spread this on the podcast. Oh, now you're embarrassed. Yeah.
Anyway, this podcast is rated TV 21, I think. Anyway.
So does Kitchener win the championship? No! Next question.
No, Kitchener's not winning the OHL title this year. They might win a round or two. But anyway, the Niagara Ice Dogs this weekend I saw, they had this thing, they're pimping it up going, you can't miss the second intermission on Sunday, February 14th. Something major is going to happen. And people are talking, are they going to retire the first ever number? Or what's going to happen with this franchise? Are the Burks going to sell? What's going on? People got married.
That's pretty shitty.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Turned out to be two people from front office, too.
You need to hand out pamphlets at games. It's like, do not get married. Matthew Babcock asks, how many game warrants do you guys have? Ooh.
I own 21 or 22.
I'm right around that mark, too.
Yeah.
I just bought a shitload this summer. Yeah, well, 20.
I bought a bunch this summer, too. You found a good haul of Spitfires jerseys. I found a good haul of Brampton Battalion jerseys. People were upset, angry, confused, all at the same time.
But us getting gamers?
I can think of one person.
My wife?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, she was pretty pissed I dropped some big cash on some gamers.
I benefited from it, so...
It's easier to ask forgiveness and beg permission.
How does Fanboys Live differ from your usual unedited podcast, like the disaster we recorded on the QEW? That comes from, should we say his Twitter name?
Terry Ironmonger?
Terry Ironmonger. He appeared on the podcast, but Terry Ironmonger is not his real name, so...
No.
Well, first of all, that podcast that you were at, Terry, that was a
if that
show.
Is your real name.
Yeah, if that is your real name. That was probably, on of the 20 previous episodes we've had this season, where would you rank that one? 19, 20?
Yeah.
That was a pretty bad one.
Most of our live ones are pretty bad. Noticing?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. My fault, I guess. Thanks, Brian. No, actually, you know what? Not too much heavy editing goes in other than trying to get echo out of our voices and whatnot. Like, we don't do multiple takes or anything like that.
No. I don't have time for that shit. It's like, let's just go. I prefer off-the-cuff remarks and all stuff like that, obviously, if you've ever heard me swear constantly. But someone asked me that, not on using the hashtag, which fuck you, but they're like, oh, why do you need to swear so much? And he directed towards both of us, and it's like, I don't swear to get shocked at or anything. That's how I normally talk. That's how I talk with my friends and family and all that stuff like that. So it's just, you are with your culture, right? You talk how you talk, and if you don't like it, fuck you.
Nate wants to talk CIS.
Fuck him.
Okay, next question. Does Fabry come to Kitchener? No.
I don't know.
No.
No, you're saying no because you don't want it to happen. You realize it is a small possibility. He's still in the A right now, right?
He's in the NHL. He's scoring goals for the St. Louis Blues, sir.
Yeah, but St. Louis sucks.
They don't.
They still suck to me.
Bring up the standings.
Don't bring up the standings.
Hey, look, Kingston's still first.
Whoa.
Barry's catching them. Jesus, look at that.
Or fifth in the Midwest Division.
I just got that now. God damn, I'm slow. Or last in the Western Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we have a special guest coming up soon.
Dude, you're last in the league.
Yeah.
Don't say the Western Conference. You're last.
It sounds better if I say we're last in the Western Conference.
It is what it is.
Maybe people will think we're beating Sudbury, and we'll still get first overall pick. Luckily, we caught Sudbury there, and now we're pulling back from them a bit. We need to lose more games. We need to have Sudbury win more. If we're going to suck this bad, I want first overall pick. Barely trying for Ryan. Get that hashtag going. For Ryan Merkley, who I've been told should be...
Matt Parks wants to know who the toughest pound-for-pound player is in the league. Problem is, I see so many of these guys who are like a big size, and then they don't... not that they need to fight, but they don't even fucking check. Like, we got two guys on our team named Logan, and they're massive fucking Adonises of human beings, and they don't lay the body. And when they do, the fans go ape shit, because that's what they should be using their video for. Again, Nick Zinder, I'll bring his name up. Big, huge, strong, hulking guy. Guys just wanted to see him fucking crush. But we called him Gentle Breeze, because up and down the ice. And we're like, come on, man, kill someone. God built you for a reason.
We paid for blood. That is what Spitz fans pay for, isn't it?
Tiffany wants to know, there's talk about the OHL possibly allowing an American team to host the Memorial Cup. What are your views?
Well, I haven't heard of that, but I mean, my views would be if they've got the team and they got the rink, why not? There might be some there might be some logistical issues to sort out, but they've done it in the past before.
Yeah, then
Portland's hosted it, Spokane's hosted it, Seattle hosted it. All of them did it in the 80s and 90s. So
yeah.
why can't we have one now? Erie's got a good rink now. Why can't
Erie would be the most logical. I don't see Flint ever getting it,
No.
and I don't see Saginaw ever getting it. Saginaw's in that weird berry hole where they're not going to get upgrades, and the rink is just... I don't get it, though. I wish they'd fucking stop holding the OHL up to such high standards to host a goddamn tournament.
Well, that's the problem. Now we only have one potential host for next year.
London?
I get it. You got to have a good team, but we're gonna have good teams next year, possibly that just have crappy arenas, or not at least not arenas not held up to Memorial Cup hosting standards.
Which, fuck, man. You ever watch those tournaments in Rimouski and Shawinigan? It looks fucking sweet. That's like the same thing. We've talked about this on the podcast before. When the World Juniors was held at junior rinks, it looked fucking awesome. And now they're just NHL productions, and it's like, because you're not cheering for... You're cheering for a Michael Bay movie at this point. You're cheering for just some big-ass fucking production. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to feel connected to a big-ass fucking production anymore. So
I mean, I think it'd be cool to have it.
I want Sudbury to host one.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I want an old-ass rink in the middle of goddamn Ontario and Siberia to host a tournament. I want it to snow during the Memorial Cup.
In May.
In May.
And it's in May
Sudbury.
Now. Yeah, it's in late May now, remember, because everything's like...
Is this all the questions?
Yeah, are you people out?
It's like fucking 8:30. You've got like an hour and a half to The Walking Dead. Ask more. You know how much work went into this?
Someone wants to know if there's going to be a drinking game.
What's the drinking game?
I don't know. Drink.
Okay.
That's the game. Cheers. I'm out anyway. Yeah, like I'd love to see a Memorial Cup in small rink. Both of the Spitfires Memorial Cup championships came in small rinks.
Is Brandon small?
Brandon's pretty small.
How small?
I don't know. It seats, I think, no more than 5,000 or so. I would consider that.
I don't consider that small, man.
Average.
You look at Owen Sound and Sudbury and stuff like that, where they actually are smaller. That's small. I'm not in favor of putting it in a 3,000 seat rink, by the way. It's like, obviously you can't do that. You're not going to make any fucking money unless it's $150 a ticket to see Kelowna and Guelph or whatever. But you gotta have it in the 4,000 seat rinks. You can make money off those. God, am I not looking... let's face it, Windsor's getting the Memorial Cup next year. I win. So, I am
get tickets.
deathly afraid... Fuck you, I don't even know if I'll get tickets. But I'm deathly afraid to see what those prices are going to be.
Someone's asking in the chat, what is our opinion on American teams in the O?
I've never been in favor of Erie having a team. I always feel it should be bordering states at most. We're the Ontario League. And I take that literally. Just like in the Bible, when all those things happen literally too.
Yeah, they really happened already.
Yeah. That poor Samson.
What teams handle... Okay.
I bitch and now we've got 6 new questions.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, this one, Eric Brookhauser. What teams handle are best at making Game 1 jerseys available to the
Use
public?
proper grammar if you're going to tweet us.
You know how you just bitched about Erie? I think that's where that guy's from.
Just kidding. I don't really hate Erie. I just don't understand how they got a fucking team.
Well, like the Niagara
What
Falls
teams
Thunder.
handle are best at making game?
Guelph every year puts theirs up for auction on eBay. I mean, that's
Windsor actually gives away a lot of theirs, so as much as I'd like to bitch that they're not available to me to get, at least they're giving them away and making them available to actual fans. Like, big news story. I filled out a piece of paper, and
Did
this
you?
piece of paper said that I will pay for every possible Spitfire playoff home game. I purchased Spitfire playoff home games for the first time in 5 years.
This is a moment, people.
I'm going. I didn't pay for either of those London sweeps. Fuck that.
This is a moment in time.
I'm,
There's 3 things
I'm
that
going.
you'll be talking to your kids about in the future.
9/11.
No, not anymore. I was gonna work in a Flint reference here because.
Oh, that's better.
Good God.
That's much better, Steve. I only talked about the death of 3,000 innocent individuals.
Oh, Jesus Christ, bro.
You don't know how far this Flint one's gonna go. Shame on you.
Okay. Yeah, shame on me for thinking that
We
Brian
have
wasn't
one
gonna say
listener.
Yeah. Shame on me for thinking that Brian wasn't going to say something horribly offensive to everybody. No. The Flint, Michigan Mega Bowl was this weekend.
That Tropics thing?
Yes.
I thought they said it was March 12th. We had the date circled and everything.
It was
Those
February.
fuckers moved it.
It was February 13th. Well, regardless, the Owenstown Attack were in Flint last night. It was Flint Tropics night. Their mascot wrestled a bear, a.k.a. a guy in a bear costume.
Jackie Moon!
Yeah. Curtis E. Bear, the Courtesy Bear.
Worst interpretation, Nelly Furtado's O Canada at the All-Star Game. What All-Star Game? Or Krusty the Clown portraying King Lear. Shut up, Nate.
Speaking of Nate, should goalies be exempt from the OA rule? That's actually a good question.
Yes. And bring back the Euro goalies.
Euro goalies.
Fuck, those are good people who aren't taking good Canadian jobs because half of the Ontario goalies are shit. Bring back my Philip Grubauers. Those guys were awesome. Without that, we wouldn't have had Peter Mrazek. You want to live in a world without Peter Mrazek in the O? You want him just playing the check?
Where would Ottawa have been without Peter Mrazek?
Still in 7th.
Where they should be. No, I'm totally in favor of...
Fuck your asbestos rink.
Goalies take a lot longer to develop. We know this. I think it would be, I'm not saying let them keep playing past the age of 20, but maybe not have them as an OA.
Shane Gallant wants to know who will win Coach of the Year in the O. Coach of the Year has always been like a bullshit award to me, where it's really the award for most improved team. Very rarely do you see a coach win that award that has the best ranked teams.
Yeah.
So I would definitely go with the boys behind the Sarnia bench for turning them around. What's it, the owners? I'm a little drunk.
The Hatchers.
Hatchers!
That other H family in hockey.
Oh, I had to think for a minute who the other one was. Hunter. Holy shit, we got a lot of tweets. Okay, slow down your tweets, people. No, I'm kidding. Keep them coming. Favorite owned jersey and why from Matt Parks. I'll let you go first, Steve-O.
Favorite game worn and why?
Favorite owned jersey.
Oh,
one that we own. One that is not just like a friend or anything, but one that we are the master and they are the slave.
Okay, my favorite jersey that I own, jeez. Probably, I don't know, my Kirby Reichel Memorial Cup one's pretty cool.
I love that one just because you got that for a fucking song.
I got that for a song?
That means you got it for really cheap.
Oh, okay. $3.55 depends on what your definition of cheap is. For a jersey that was worn at a Memorial Cup by the OHL champion and
by their best player.
By their best player who scored the OHL championship winning goal, $3.55 is pretty cheap. Yes.
My favorite jersey, I have one of the Belleville Bulls Mickey Renault warm-ups, worn by future Spitfire Mark Canton. It is my absolute favorite jersey. There's only 20 of them in the world. At one time I had 5 of the 20, but I spread the wealth. And yeah, it's my favorite. No one will ever go near that one.
Joel Vanderland's asking, any chance Belleville comes back to the OHL eventually?
Did we just do this? I said maybe.
I didn't hear
Fuck
that
us.
question.
Fuck us! Any cool jerseys to show off from the closet, Brian? Mr. Keith Kelly, May of last year, I was sitting here watching Game 6 of the QMJHL Finals on an illegal stream when all of a sudden I heard pit, 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 and that was my roof leaking from the above neighbors who were running a drug operation with weed, and they had a big pit bull, and they had mice and hamsters and everything, and the dog chewed through a fucking toilet cord. And yeah, my apartment flooded. Thank God I had them in barrels. So no, they are all put away in barrels, unfortunately. I just broke this one out. I don't even wear jerseys to games much. It's actually motivating me not to see my jerseys much because two things. One, I had more jerseys than closet space to the point I couldn't even get a jersey out of the closet anymore. They were trapped in the closet like Tom Cruise. And two, it motivates me because I don't see them to save money, and I'm actually going to get a fucking house instead of this wretched ass apartment. Which the only nice thing about Toast Manor is I am 1 block from the WFCU Center. That's it. Other than that, this place sucks ass.
You may not want to tell people how close you live to the WSU Center.
Why? I run a fucking OHL hostel.
True.
How many people have slept on my couch?
Oh, God. What teams haven't been represented on that couch over there?
Fuck, I know you're not fucking invited, whoever the hell you are watching. But, yeah, a lot of fucking out-of-town guests have spent the night on my couch. I'm like, all the hotels are on literally the other end of the city. Just come chill here and don't masturbate on my couch. And do they listen? No. Should the OHL expand? And if so, where apart from Western New York? I'd like to see, I'm always a sucker for it going back to the cities that lost it, like a Cornwall.
Cornwall would be cool. The rink's not even that bad. I mean, if we have the Flint rinks in this league.
I always thought it'd be funny to see something fucked up like Thunder Bay.
It would, but I mean...
Like really, that's really fucked up.
Yeah. Like
or Moose Factory.
Moose Factory, Ontario.
Where they can only have home games when the ice is frozen.
Yeah. You people love outdoor games so much.
Yeah, Moose Factory, every game!
Every game.
Be awesome.
No, it wouldn't.
No, I honestly think Western New York would be the most logical, but if you have to go elsewhere, I'd say Toledo.
Yeah, people say Toledo all the time.
Toledo's got a shitty ECHL team, and I don't even believe the ECHL should exist, but hey, it's a league where it pays hockey players, and whoever watches it, God bless them. But really, if you're on the way from Michigan all the way up to Pennsylvania to see Erie, Toledo's kind of on the way. Might as well stop there, watch a game, right?
Speaking of the ECHL, Brampton. Any chance Brampton gets a team back, and if so, what the heck will you do? I'm guessing that's directed to me.
I've always wanted to know that, because you've met a new girl now, and that girl's name is Guelph. And so if your cheating whore of an ex-Brampton comes back to you, do you just be like, baby, I'm not sure if I can come back. I met someone new.
I don't even live in Brampton anymore.
What do you do, though?
First of all,
Yeah, but you can be that hipster dude again where, like, you're one of the 6. What do you do, man? That's a fucking tough question.
One of the SmackDown 6.
Yeah? You just pray that they're stay in different conferences, I guess, right?
No. It shouldn't happen. B, if it does, who's that stupid? Really?
But that's not the question. The question is there already is a team back in Brampton. No. There's a team back in Brampton. What do you do? Don't avoid the question.
I'm with Guelph.
You stuck it in Guelph's butt and you're sticking to it.
Okay, if that's the analogy you want to say. But honestly, the only reason why I left, the battalion is they left town, they're gone. I picked a new team. The only way I'm leaving the Guelph Storm now is if they were to pack up and leave somewhere, which I, knock on wood, I don't see that happening anytime soon. We've been in dead last the whole year, and we've still averaging more than 4,000 people.
Because there's nothing fucking else to do in Guelph.
A lot of drinking going on in Guelph.
I would think so. Those people live in Guelph.
Guelph isn't that bad.
The name Guelph is phonetic for a cat horking up a hairball.
Yeah.
Guelph! That's how they got the name. It's not even like Egyptian or anything.
Who wins the scoring race this year? Kevin LeBanc, I guess. He's the only one who's hit 100 points so far. That happened last night.
I don't think Marner's catching him.
I mean, if anyone's going to catch him, it's going to be Marner. But
yeah.
I think Kevin LeBanc... Well, what was he, +9 one night when Barrie beat North Bay 12-2?
There's a James McLean and a John McLean. Explain.
See, I'm not getting all the tweets for some reason.
Well, thank God we can share, but who's James and who's John?
James is my father, and that John you're looking at there is my cousin.
Your cousin says Travis Konechny is pretty dope, eh? Yes, he's rather dope.
I just saw Konechny for the first time in person this season on Friday night, and I can confirm he's dope. No, he was really good. He scored a couple goals on Guelph, which isn't that hard, I guess, but...
The guys from the Perfect Scene blog, they want to know the best uniforms in the league. Even though they just beat us today, I still say it is the Barber Poles of Ottawa. It used to be Oshawa when they had their original script jerseys. Now that they went to a more streamlined Yeah.
I know I'm
no.
going to start a fight here, but I don't like the barber poles.
That's because you're an idiot.
Well, that's your opinion doesn't matter much.
Yeah. I'll remind you guys, too, if you've got pictures of you drinking watching the show, send them in tonight as well. I want to remind you guys, if you get your genitals on the Flint selfie jerseys, $100 in your country's currency, Steve will pay it. That's a real thing.
Hey. You thought I was going to be looking at all these tweets and questions and that would just go right past me? Steve's going to pay the money, everybody. Fuck you.
You're my sugar daddy, aren't you?
No, you were the one who put the money up.
Bill
in
it
the
to
first place.
OTSN?
You explain it to your wife. I don't have to do that shit.
Yeah, you don't have a wife. Lucky bastard.
Yeah.
Whoa, we have a live picture from Terry Ironmonger's jersey closet. However, sir, you are showing some NHL jerseys in there.
Boo!
Fuck yo NHL jerseys.
I just got rid of a bunch of my NHL jerseys.
Chris Betchley wants to know who has the best French fries in the league. Good Lord, wouldn't know.
I thought it was like Mississauga.
Who orders French fries at Arena?
I have on occasion.
Ugh.
Owen Sound had some good ones the first time.
There's usually better shit to choose than fries.
But that was back when I was kind of...
I'm a hot dog guy.
You're done in like 4 bites.
Yeah, but I don't...
I've heard the hot dogs at St. Mike's in Toronto were always the bomb.
But at least it's there. Whereas French fries, you gotta douse them all in ketchup. What are you doing?
It's there.
It's there. And you gotta douse them in ketchup and shit, and then you're getting your hands all messy in that, and it's greasy as fuck. Whereas the hot dog, you eat it, you're done, you're good.
Here's a question that actually has, it kind of applies to us, kind of right now, by association. You guys should come out to the West Coast and catch a T-Birds game. It's not really a question, but it's a comment. There's someone in this room.
Dude, I'm going to a T-Birds game.
Yes.
I'm going to one in the end of September, going up to Seattle, trying out all the motherfucking teams. Because my best friend who's in the room tonight, and he leaves in a week for Seattle, he's moving to Seattle. It's weird because he moved away to college, and the Spits won 2 Memorial Cups. And then he came back, and they've been dog shit for 4 years. And now he's moving away, and we're about to host the Memorial Cup. Benjamin.
We're looking at you. He was the one who was distracting me earlier, so...
He's got sweet tits.
He does. Hey, we got someone giving shout-outs to the CompuWare French fries and mentioned CJ's are the best. CJ's are the best, but I don't know about French fries. I just had pizza there, so...
Fuck it, before when it was a Greek restaurant that had Mexican food. Oh my god, those enchiladas. And the chimichangas. Oh my god. So good.
I miss Slapshot in Belleville.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we all miss him.
For Toast 84, you're in a room with Donald Trump and Pharma Bro, but only have 1 bullet. Uh-oh.
I don't know.
The show's starting to go off the rails.
Can we? How much longer can we keep this up before we have to start like dancing?
Live sex show.
You want to go to the interview and then come back?
Yeah, well, we'll hit up our famous interview with Sam Cosentino. I think it's about time, is it not?
You know, I think it is time for Sam Cosentino to come on.
He's going to be in the kitchen live.
Yeah. Live. Sam Cosentino, Sportsnet analyst, color commentator, Rye of different duties in the OHL.
He's been doing it for a long fucking time.
He has. So, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back from Sportsnet, Sam Cosentino on the OHL Fanboys Live podcast.
Bothered by Timmins, played by Harry Young, and he's cross-checked to the exit. There's going to be a penalty on the play. Matt Duchesne is going to the box for cross-checking, I would think. Let's see.
Oh my.
It is cross-checking.
1:32, the time of this penalty to Duchesne. Right there, Duchesne gets the stick up on the back.
Luck at him on a second effort. There's Nemus. Now for Quick with a shot and a save. The rebound by Hall. He scores! And the Spitfires have won it. Tanner Hall. And the Spitfires are off to the Memorial Cup. Mission accomplished. A power play marker by Tanner Hall. And the WFCU center goes absolutely bananas.
We're sorry. Due to circumstances beyond our control, the script to the rest of the episode was lost on its way overseas. Luckily, the episode was finished by the Korean animators. We hope you enjoy the new ending.
Welcome back to the OHL Fanboys podcast. My guest this week is color commentator for all the CHL on Sportsnet broadcasts and CHL aficionado Sam Cosentino. Sam, thank you for joining the podcast this week.
Yeah, Steve, it's nice to be on. It's been a little while in the making, but happy to be here.
Now, obviously, you've been on Sportsnet for a while, but you actually you had your start a little bit earlier than that. I've been kind of going through a vast amount of old Brampton Battalion tapes recently, converting them to DVD, and you were a mainstay on those broadcasts as well, but with Doug Anderson. But where is that where exactly you got your start in the CHL, or how is it that where was it you began when it came to CHL on TV?
Well, that was definitely a part of it. But between there, doing some radio stuff for a real tiny kind of startup station that never lasted in Barrie, and then doing some stuff in Mississauga between hosting and doing some color there and a little bit of play-by-play with Mississauga, Brampton, and Barrie. It's all kind of mixed and mashed in together between those three cities in the Ontario Hockey League. So it's been pretty cool. I mean, sucks to see Brampton being gone. I used to watch a lot of games there that would have helped me out in terms of scouting other teams and so on and so forth. But, with the team having moved into Hamilton, I guess you kind of lose one and gain one back. They're both about equidistant from my house, so I can still have the opportunity to get some work done over there, which is a nice luxury to have. We travel out into the Western Hockey League and the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, and I tell guys that I'm probably an hour and a half to about 8 rinks in the league, and they say an hour and a half. That's our practice rink. Never mind going to any games. So, yeah, it's a nice luxury to have to be located here. That's for sure.
We've always had those discussions when OHL teams complain about a travel schedule. Oh, we got to go to the Sioux this weekend, and W and Q teams probably just laugh. And I'd imagine it kind of goes the same for you being on the national broadcast. It's like. I'd imagine, on those weeks where you're broadcasting a game in like Guelph or London, it's a lot better of a luxury than those weeks where you got to go to, Kelowna or Halifax.
Yeah, the home games are nice. I have a young family now, so it's nice to be able to sleep in your own bed at night. But, by the same token, when you're trying to look at players, whether it be doing some due diligence for the draft or just trying to get a feel for what team you might see in our playoff schedule or even further down the road in the MasterCard Memorial Cup there. It is nice to get out to some of those places, and not to mention, some of those cities are, you mentioned two of the best probably in all the CHL in Kelowna and Halifax. I could, if I were not tied to anything and maybe, 10 or 15 years past where I am now, that'd be a place I could see myself retiring for sure. And in Halifax, when it comes to food and how nice the people are. That's also a pretty tough place to beat on either side of the country. So you're really lucky, at least in my job, to be able to get to see the entire country. It's nice to sleep in your own bed, but it's also nice to get out and explore places that I suppose if I were in a real job that I might not get the opportunity to see.
Obviously, you just talked about Halifax a bit, but maybe other than that, maybe it is your favorite. But is there any city where when it comes up on your schedule, you think, oh, I can't wait to get back and call a game there?
Well, Victoria's got to be one of them, and we've been there once this year already, and it's an unbelievable spot. The city is just gorgeous. There's a resort just on the outside of town that takes pretty good care of us, that makes it affordable for us to be able to stay there when we're there. And it's an awesome place that, you've heard a little bit about it going back to the Len Barrie days. It's basically the place that he started and never really finished, but it's an unbelievable spot. The rink is great. The booth there is a nice spot. We've struck up a pretty good friendship with Dave Lowry, so it's nice to be able to get in and see him and spend a little time with him with all of his knowledge, having played, coached in the National Hockey League and with the World Junior team now. So that's definitely one place. Kelowna would be another. Quebec City is just a fantastic spot, and I'm dying to get back in there this year to see them in the new barn as the lone tenants in that NHL-sized arena. Halifax, pretty tough place to beat. It's one of my favorite restaurants in the entire country there. So, we also, when the opportunity doesn't present itself to see a game on our travel night on the Thursday night, usually we'll get in and watch a practice, and then, try and get out for dinner with the guys, kind of get regrouped, talk about the game a little bit, and and then of course Friday's is game day, so it's pretty much all business on that day. But you got to mix a little bit of the business and the pleasure. But if circle back to answer your question, Kelowna, Victoria, Halifax would be 3 of the top 5 for sure.
And you mentioned Quebec. I had a chance to go to the Memorial Cup this past year at the Colisée, and that was just a fantastic city. So definitely got I agree with you. I can't wait to get up to the new rink up there eventually. Hopefully, I'm sure you'll be there before I am, though. As far as your you mentioned the travel schedule though too, and obviously it seems like despite the fact that Sportsnet took on this huge NHL contract, a lot of us when we first heard that thought, perhaps they might drop the CHL coverage or if anything, at least rescind on it a little bit. If anything, it seems like it's been getting bigger. You guys have been doing a lot of, sometimes you have your double headers on Friday nights. Sometimes there's games on Sundays. It just seems like there's a bigger presence than there ever has been on Sportsnet. Do you think there is a more appetite for junior hockey in Canada now than there ever has been?
Well, I mean, we're trying to create that. That's for sure. When you look at our boss is Scott Moore, and he's a huge proponent of the CHL and loves the property, and us getting the NHL, I think, added more value to maintaining the CHL games on our network, because I think Connor McDavid's a perfect example. I mean, we showed so much of him last year, and why wouldn't you? And then followed him through, and he signed a promotional deal with Rogers, and then until he was hurt in the National Hockey League with Edmonton, I tend to think that their ratings were way up simply based on his presence alone. And there are probably some of those people that followed him through his junior career in Erie and right up to the National Hockey League. And we hope that we at least on the CHL side of things played a small part in that. But I think there's still a lot of room to grow the property. I think there's more synergies that can be taken advantage of between the Canadian Hockey League and the National Hockey League. But our people are definitely on the right track. I mean, it comes to the draft, and I walked into the draft and worked my first draft last year in terms of us having the rights and being on a panel, and I wasn't really nervous or very concerned about it, because pretty much everybody I knew there, between the some of the scouts and the GMs and the players themselves, was just kind of like another day at the office. So that was kind of nice. But our guys maintaining those rights, I think we try and build off the World Juniors a little bit in both its lead up and in the aftermath. And I think that as we continue to forge forward with this relationship, we're going to be able to take advantage of even more synergies and hopefully continue to grow the product.
How important are NHL prospects when it comes to broadcasting a game, a CHL game on Sportsnet? Because obviously those guys are the ones that get on the promos. Obviously, you guys got a lot of mileage out of Connor McDavid last year, and to the point where some people even got annoyed by it. I was reading on Twitter. I know a lot of people, and obviously this isn't your choice, but some people even suggested, especially when Oshawa won the OHL title and things were kind of cutting. Well, let's go down, but let's see what McDavid's reaction is to all this. But when it comes to, obviously you're not producing the show, but when it comes to that, do you think how important is it to really showcase those NHL stars, but also at the same time try and balance it and talk about those guys who, they're good hockey players, but really they're probably not going to get a chance maybe beyond OHL or CIS hockey?
Yeah, well, it is. It's a hard thing to balance. I mean, the McDavid thing is probably a once in a generation type situation. When Sidney Crosby was around, we were kind of, I think, maybe 3, 4, 5 years into the deal, and we weren't exactly sure how to go about handling something like that. And we did have him on our network, and we did go to Rimouski, which was kind of uncharted territory for us. But when you go back to McDavid and last year, it made things a little easier. And we were well aware of what was being said in terms of, Oshawa doesn't get any love. They've been the best team and the number one team in the OHL. And, how can we're in Sault Ste. Marie and not there? And, why are we worried about what this guy's saying after they lost the game? But I think that's kind of the exception to the rule. And I think if you go back and you look at some of the other players that we've talked about, Mike Stomey was on our air quite a bit, Ole Mata back when he played in London, same sort of thing. And, even going out to Nick Merkley in Kelowna, how often were the Rockets on our network last year? And he ended up being the 30th player in the draft. But scheduling's a real challenge for us in that the grid, the NHL kind of rules the grid. We've kind of designated Friday nights, and so there are certain mandates that have to be met, and they could either be CHL mandated games, they could be league mandated games, whether it's the W, the Q, or the O, and then there's also games that we have to mandate certain times so that it fits into our NHL schedule. So once you get through all the mandates, you're not always getting the best players or the best matchups, which is what we strive to do. But unfortunately, those are some immovable objects in our schedule. And with the NHL, kind of being our moneymaker, if you will, and what we paid the most for, we kind of have to fall in and schedule behind that. But generally, the goal is to get the best players and to get the best matchups. And if we can achieve both of those goals in a single game, then that's a bonus for us. If it's a matter of ruling a better matchup against better individual players, that's something that our management weighs. And then we have to also be cognitive of costs. And when you're getting into areas where you're not traveling crew from a main city, and you got to pay per diem and pay for their travel to get out there, the costs become a little bit more prohibitive in that regard. So you are restricted by a lot of things. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the end goal is to try and get the best players, the best matchups on the network, and we do our best to achieve that whenever possible.
Obviously, for a long time, your play-by-play partner was Peter Labordius, and of course, he's a former guest on this show. We had him on at the Memorial Cup last year, but obviously, a few years in, you're with RJ Broadhead now. Well, obviously, when you have when you're with someone for so long like that, and then it kind of changes up, was there any adjustment to your style at all, or was it really a seamless transition? And I won't ask who was the better one to work with, but was there any kind of bumps in the road when bringing in somebody new to the show?
Well, Pete and I had unbelievable chemistry, and when you get a new partner in the booth, you just kind of have to see what they do, where their pauses are, how they go about their business. And RJ, I think he's an amazing broadcaster. And to be honest with you, I don't know how long I'm going to be sitting in the seat beside him, because I really feel strongly that there are much bigger and better things on the horizon for him. And he's been a wonderful partner to work with. He's extremely diligent. But having said that, I've been lucky. Like, I've worked with Dan Dunleavy, who's now in the National Hockey League at the Buffalo Sabres, when I was doing games in Toronto. I worked with John Abbott on some of those games too. He's a play-by-play guy in Vancouver. I've worked with Joey Kenward, who has pretty good presence out, doing games with Sean in the Western Hockey League, and then of course Rob Falls, who's the consummate pro who can do just about anything and everything. He's an extremely valuable guy to our company. Pete and I had great chemistry on air. We've got a wonderful friendship that lasts to this day. We speak fairly regularly. I know he misses the junior game a lot, but it's nice to be in the NHL as well. And, working with RJ, it probably took I would say it took a good 6 months, probably. And I think by year 2, we kind of, figured each other out a little bit. And years 3, 4, and 5 now have just been awesome. So I've been really, really lucky that I've worked with some unbelievable guys beside me. And I'm really happy that they've gone on to the National Hockey League, and I'm really happy with where I am. I always say to people, I think I have the best gig in sports. I mean, we walk into an arena where people are happy to see you. They want to talk to you. There's few secrets that are kept behind, because I like to think that I've earned that trust over 11 years on the job. So again, I'm lucky. Pete was awesome. I loved working with Pete. His passion and his energy are infectious. But by the same token, RJ Broadhead is like the consummate professional, and like I say, he's not going to be beside me for very long, I don't think.
Well, and you mentioned all these guys who've moved on to bigger and better things, and you're saying that RJ, you don't think he'll be around in the CHL game too much longer. Has there been any aspirations for you to want to move up to like an NHL level, or are you just happy with where you are calling the junior game?
Well, it's of course, I think anyone in our business wants to make that jump and that next step. But with that next step, there comes some pitfalls too. Sometimes it's relocation. I have a young family. That would be a challenge if I were, offered a job in another market outside of the greater Toronto area.
Mhm.
The other thing is there's an immense amount of pressure, and there's tons of change that happens in that league. So just because you go there and you're in the National Hockey League one year, it doesn't mean that you're going to be in that job in the next year. So that has its challenges. But, would I love to do National Hockey League games? Yeah. I mean, of course I'd love to do that. But the way I look at it is, I fit in kind of a sweet spot in the Canadian Hockey League. In the National Hockey League, I'd say probably 90% of your color analysts are guys that have played the game at the National Hockey League level. I never did that. And I make no bones about it. I never played at any high level of hockey. I kind of got lucky to get into my job. And so with what happens in the Canadian Hockey League, our broadcasts are filled with some analysis, which I think I do a decent job at, but there's a big chunk of that's educating people about who these players are, the stories behind them. The big mandate coming from our company in terms of our National Hockey League coverage is storytelling. And I think I do a pretty good job in that regard because of my diligence in the Canadian Hockey League, the connections I have there, and having been used to researching the product in a way that probably most National Hockey League guys don't research it. Not that they don't do their work, but I think our work is a little bit different. So in that regard, Steve, I would say to you that I'm kind of in a sweet spot in the business. And part of being successful and part of longevity is realizing where you're kind of best suited and where you best fit. And because I never played the National Hockey League, it's a pretty good fit for me to be in the Canadian Hockey League. The contacts have been established over a long period of time. I'm comfortable by the travel and some of the challenges that working in smaller areas might have, and working in an area where information isn't always readily available. So I think the perfect blend for me would probably be do a couple of NHL games, maybe on an exhibition basis, or into the month of October, and once the calendar hits November to get back working in the CHL. But those the people that are in our management group are very well aware that if the opportunity comes up to do some of those games, that I'd be more than willing and happy to do them. In the meantime, I think they're pretty happy with having added the draft to my repertoire. That they're pretty happy with me doing CHL games. I love my job. I'm really happy in it. And so right now, this is kind of the best time and best place for me.
Awesome. And I know our time is limited here. I wish I could go on with you about the World Juniors. There's a lot of talk about that right now. But last question I'll leave you off here with. And you were talking about the Ultimate Pro there and Rob Falls. And, of course, I think a perfect example of that was when he was on the ice in Kitchener. And, of course, the Memorial Cup fell apart on the poor Spokane Chiefs there. But obviously, you get to go to the Memorial Cup every year, and it's my favorite event of the year. Is there any moment in all your years of covering the Memorial Cup that has stood out to you as a favorite moment, whether it be that or something else with the tournament?
Well, there are a lot of different elements to them, and I could take the on ice element and going back to 2006, which was my first cup, and just remember how hot and sweaty it was up in that booth in Moncton. And you look down and you saw Don Hay coaching Vancouver, Dick Todd was the head coach at Peterborough, you had Patrick Waugh, the legend, coaching the Quebec Ramparts, and then you had Ted Nolan and Danny Flynn at the helm of the Moncton Wildcats. So those four coaches, I don't know if you can see a group that has quite the resume that those four guys have put together. And you kind of remember the building rocking and rolling when they got into the final. That one was kind of neat for me, A, because it was my first, B, because we were in there and had done Game 6 when Moncton had beat Quebec to win the President Cup and the QMJHL, and then these guys ended up meeting in the MasterCard Memorial Cup final, and it was pretty cool. Having seen a little bit of the lineage of that series and how it had played out. But there's a moment I can remember, and Patrick Waugh taking no prisoners. He'd been all over Josh Torgman, who at the start of the tournament, the goaltender for Moncton, had praised Patrick Waugh as one of his heroes growing up, and Patrick wasn't having any of it because he felt he might be able to give his team an edge by saying, I don't really care what Torchman says. We're here to win the tournament type of thing. And then I remember very clearly before the championship game walking into the rink and seeing Ted Nolan outside, very pensive and nervous and, all of those things, wondering what was going to happen. Of course, Quebec went on to to win the game, and Alexander Radulov was great. Cedric Desjardins was unbelievable in goal. Keith Yandel rang one off the post, I want to say about midway through the third period, that might have changed the complexion of the game entirely as Moncton was started to mount a comeback. But I think that cup in general for me was, it's your first. I've done 10 more since then. I've been really lucky to do those. But that first one always kind of holds a special place for you, because had you asked me 20 years ago, I probably couldn't even told you what the Memorial Cup was.
Oh, wow. It is amazing. I have to say, if anyone out there has a chance to go to it, because it is just such an amazing, one of the most amazing hockey experiences you'll ever take part in. Sam, thank you very much for joining me today when time was tight, and awesome to talk to you about junior hockey.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on, Steve, and I appreciate the time.
That's Sam Cosentino, of course, the color analyst for the CHL on Sportsnet. And, of course, he is the co-host. I should have mentioned this on the intro. He's the co-host of Jeff Merrick of Junior, which is Sportsnet's junior hockey podcast. You can follow that on Twitter at SNetJunior. When we come back, we wrap up this episode of the OHL Fanboys podcast.
You can see where he gets it. Scores! Rebound comes out to Logan Brown, and he beats Parsons on the power play. Everyone looking one way. Puck comes back out the other way, and Brown puts it in.
Welcome back to the OHL Fanboys. Brian's drunk. He was drinking during the whole interview. Sorry about the resolution problems during that interview. I don't know what happened to our camera, but there was a couch here. Sam Cosentino was here. Thanks, by the way, Sam Cosentino from Sportsnet, for coming to Toast Manor tonight. And
we're trying to get all the Sportsnet guys.
Yeah, we are. We had Todd Warner last week.
We've got the original Sportsnet guys in Peter Lubardius and Sam Cosentino on this show. We are legit.
Mm-hmm.
So give us our fucking media passes already.
They refuse to give us any.
Fanboys' lives matter.
Only sound lives matter.
Do we have other questions to answer?
We do have more questions.
Yay!
Some more questions before we wrap this up for the night. And a couple of them are for Brian, and there's going to be some good ones.
Oh, cool. I do like questions.
Brian, this comes from at Matt_Mondays. What is your best hockey jersey thrift store pickup?
Ooh. Okay, I have to separate that into categories. Best double IHF pickup was easily a 1994 Russia checkmark jersey when Reebok had the contract, because it was pretty rare that Reebok had it. I love that fucking one. Last year I got a Finland fucking brand new jersey that was $150 for like $12, and then I had a 30% off thing. Sweet. My greatest. Okay, see, that's why I have categories. I found Anaheim Angels Turn Ahead the Clock jersey.
We don't care
I know. Yeah, but it's worth like $400, and I got it for $10.
Okay.
But my best one ever, I got a 1973 Spitfires jersey for like $8. It was a size small, and I didn't give a shit. I put that over a hoodie and still wore it to the very last game at Windsor Arena. It was tight as shit, and I could barely breathe, but fuck yeah, was I representing that game. It was a Junior B Spitfires jersey. Awesome.
Matt Parks is asking, does anyone touch Jack Miller's best announcer in the league?
Nope.
Next question. No, seriously.
Who is the best announcer in the league now? Jack Miller's gone. Now. And I'll lump radio and TV into one category in honor of Jack Miller, who used to do both.
I know Fred Wallace up at Owen Sound, who does the radio for them, is really good.
Because I was going to say the next best would be the Raj, but even he's done.
No, the Raj is gone. Mike Farwell in Kitchener. He does.
I love his rants, much like Montague, but I wouldn't say he's the
Bill Montague. He's still doing color.
Yeah,
it's
but
not play-by-play.
It's more play-by-play. I
miss Tuesdays with Montague, by the way.
Oh fuck! Please bring back Tuesday with Montague. I'd have to go with our journeyman guy who used to do Saginaw. Now he's back in Sarnia, and I'm too drunk to remember his name. Lee Cunningham.
He does a pretty good job.
He did a good job when he was in Windsor for Song and a Dance. I miss him. He was very good. He's one of the. It's fucked because he did London during their big title run in 05. And it's like, wow, there's a guy whose voice is forever going to be associated with greatness. And he's gone like a couple years. I'm like, what the fuck?
Someone whose name in the chat is your wife
Subtle!
What was your most memorable OHL road trip, and what any other road trips you'd like to take in the near future?
I'd like to take road trips in the near future, but there's a certain woman who tells me I don't have money I'm allowed to spend to take future road trips.
Does it count as a road trip if you fly to Seattle?
No, because that's not an OHL road trip, I guess.
No.
I've always wanted to do all 20, but then... See, it's easier for fuckwad over here to do all 20 because he lives in central Ontario and he's like 3-4 hours from every fucking rink. Whereas I'm in Windsor and even a divisional foe is 6 hours away. I'd like to say I'd do all 20, but then the other part's going, do I want to spend that much money just to check Sudbury off the fucking list? And not only that, I had done like 12 of the 20 and then Belleville moves and then Ottawa moved to a temporary rink. Kingston got a new rink. Niagara left Mississauga and all that shit. It's like, fuck it.
You know what, you mentioned Sudbury. I just went there recently for the first time in a while. I think my girlfriend can attest to this, that it's a long-ass drive.
Mm. If there's an OHL rink that I really do want to hit and I have not yet hit it, I would have to say that it's Oshawa. And I know that they've got basically the same rink as Windsor and they've got the same presentation. The owners fucking love each other because they're two auto cities and everything. But I just think it's criminal that I haven't been to Oshawa yet.
Someone's asking me if I'm ever going to hit all 60 CHL rinks. I'm
No!
probably gonna say no.
Why would you spend money to go to Moose Jaw? Does Moose Jaw have a team?
Yeah, the Warriors.
Right.
I have a t-shirt.
Why would you want to go to Moose Jaw? Logically think that out. Motherfuckers, you watching. You make like, if you're lucky, $13 an hour, right? So you're saving your money. You're eating your fucking ramen noodles. You're watching us for subtle entertainment and all that shit. Are you really saving up going, finally going to the NMAX Center? Come on! Travel in Canada is bullshit. Everything in Canada mostly is bullshit. So why would you save money to go do all 60? First off, if you're doing all 60, you're traveling outside Canada too.
Mm-hmm. Where the dollar sucks right now.
Yeah, it's no.
By the way, the NMAX Center, I believe, is where the Memorial Cup is this year. That's
Do you think anyone's done all 60? I don't even think Dave Branch has done all 60.
The Sportsnet guys might have.
I doubt that too.
You think?
Do you think they've been to Portland?
Some scouts have had to have done all 60, NHL scouts.
I think they're the only people with a chance, I should say, who have done all 60. Because really,
honestly,
to say that you've been to Portland and Cape Breton, I highly fucking doubt that.
I actually would like to say I've done it, but realistically, no, it's probably not going to happen.
No.
Unless I win that Lotto Max one day. We're kind of winding down the questions. We'll get the answers soon. Terry Ironmonger says he went to Moose Jaw. Okay. But we have one more question specifically for you, Brian.
Oh.
And it comes from my father, James McLean.
Why did you do this?
So, Brian, I went to Sudbury with Steve. Okay, kind of got hammered.
You got hammered with your kid?
Mm-hmm. This was on a bus trip.
That's your drinking buddy is your kid?
On a bus trip in 2010, we went to Sudbury.
Not judging, just asking.
Went on a bus trip in 2010 to Sudbury. Yes, my dad got into the alcohol a little bit. He said he was yelling at the hounds. He was yelling at the guy who does the howling, who, by the way, when we were there a few weeks ago, wasn't there.
Sudbury, we taxidermy our mascots.
Anyways, so he wants to ask you specifically what rink you got the most hammered in.
I don't get hammered at most rinks. I don't even get hammered at Spitfires games.
You should be.
I talk a talk, but I don't spend $9 a fucking drink. Okay, I'm a thrifty man. I don't believe in that. And not only that, a lot of the drunks at Spitfire games turn me off from that. I much prefer drinking in the confines of my home where there is never a lineup for my bathroom. But the most drunk I ever got at a game is 2008, the year after Mickey died. Our first OHL championship. I bought tickets for all 3 games in London because you had to be on August 25th or whatever date it was to get the London games before they all sold out. Playoffs, you can get them easily, but the corporations buy up the regular seasons like mofos to give to their insurance clients and shit. So I got all 3 games behind the London bench for Windsor London games, which never sit behind the benches because you're totally at level and you got to hope that the players are sitting down, otherwise you're not seeing shit. Anyways, Windsor's winning, and I bump into, I think it's been long enough I can name names, Adam Henrique's beautiful aunt. And the Spitfires are winning. She said, "You're good luck. You bring the team." She doesn't really have an accent. I'm drunk. Anyways, She buys me a beer every period the Spitfires are winning for 3 games. So I'm fucking buying my own beers because, oddly enough, the arena named after a brewer is cheap beer. And fucking she's buying beers on top of that, and I'm getting wasted at the JLC. So the JLC wins for most drunk Brian Arena. I have been drunk once at the WFCU Center, and that's because the Spitfires were so fucking god-awful that was the only way I was sitting through that game. Never got drunk at Windsor Arena because I didn't even know they had a bar area until it was too late. But shout out to Plymouth, too. They had dollar beer nights for a long time, but guess what? They didn't have dollar beer nights when Windsor was in town because they knew our reputation, and they didn't want to pay for the extra police enforcement that night, so we had to wait and sneak over when they were playing Saginaw or Sudbury or Owen Sound, then get shit-faced.
I know that question was directed to you, but I know my drunkest rink ever was Plymouth.
Yeah.
I drank a 26er CC in about an hour and a half.
I was going to say you have to because American beer is fucking pee.
Well, I don't drink beer, period.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know. I was having Crown and Coke in the last segment.
Yeah, I'm a Keith's man.
Yeah. Well,
if you got anything else, hurry up.
Yeah.
We're leaving forever, and after this, it's just boring ass me laying on the couch and Steve talking and me waiting to fucking reload the porn and him to hurry up and shut up. Let's go.
I like the one question about best atmosphere. Which arena has the best atmosphere?
Right now in the O?
Our producer's yelling questions at us.
Yeah, I was trying to keep us on.
This one was from Twitter.
Oh, we're drunk.
Yes. It's showing up on your computer, but not mine, Brian.
It is where?
Right about... Where's the atmosphere one? There was one in there. Basically, yeah, there was Scott Mayo.
Change your fucking avatar.
That was the first one of the night, wasn't it?
Christ! Which arena has the best atmosphere right now? See, it depends what you're looking for in atmosphere. With me, I'm always looking for an organic atmosphere. I want something that the fans are initiating the cheering and not a fucking video board. Video boards are cancer.
The devil.
They are evil. Okay? I like teams that can figure out when to cheer, when to boo, when to get mad, when to fucking get happy, and not have a SpongeBob SquarePants video dictate their emotions. I love SpongeBob.
Well, if it's Cotton Eye Joe.
Backwaters ass motherfuckers.
Continue.
You're gonna hate me when I say this, but right now, Sarnia.
You think so?
I
don't hate you for saying that.
They're known as a quiet town, but they know when is appropriate to get loud and when is to get pissy. Plymouth used to be very good for that because they were too fucking broke ass to ever install a video board. But my God, was it ever refreshing as a Canadian to not be able to use your cell phone at a game and to go to a game and there's no video board and it's just like, holy shit, I'm in 1986. And
no live tweeting.
Yeah. And I really focus on the game. It's really hard now. I get people like, oh, are you going to live tweet this game? And yeah, live tweeting is fun. But then when a play happens and then you're fucking tweeting and shit, you miss the part of the next play. And it's like, all of a sudden I'm reporting the game more than I'm watching the game. It's more fun to live tweet a game on TV, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. When you used to do What the Toast Remembers on the old Noof, that was good. That was the days.
I miss the Noof.
I miss the Noof too.
I found the Noof.
On the curb.
The Noof was good.
Twitter
HF boards blows. HF boards is full of fucking 9/11 truthers and weirdos and other fucking stupid shit. Like, it's just weird. I don't care for that board. I tried it out and not personally for me. Not judging if you use it, but that's the one where all the people, remember we were bitching earlier in the year about all the freaking garbage men who'd be like, I heard that this guy's getting traded through this guy's that guy. And be like, okay, man, like I'm sure you're the inside guy and everything. But those are the people who go to HF boards. People who know people. It's like, okay, sure. We know people.
Matthew Babcock is telling both of us to come to Seattle. You told me I should go, but I don't know.
I'm going to Seattle.
But he wants me to come too. I don't know if Ben will invite
I'm good with you going. We need a designated driver.
That's true.
Daniel Hamilton quickly wants to know the best or worst memory that both of you have traveling to a game.
Hashtag Steve GF.
Girlfriend?
Yeah. See, that's the thing. in our intro. It
Daniel
says
Hamilton's your girlfriend?
No. Daniel Hamilton. See what you started, Daniel? Thanks.
Homo!
No. He's Jesus, this is going off the rails. Okay.
It was never on the rails!
No, that's a fair question. Okay, best or worst memory for a road trip?
You first, Negro.
I mean, I guess I said my best road trip memory was in Plymouth with the stick raising, and then Guelph and North Bay during the 2014 OHL Finals with the close game with 2 goals in the final 30 seconds to win Game 3, and then the next night we blew out North Bay 10-1. Worst memory of a road trip was earlier that season, a few months before, trying to actually go to North Bay and going up Airport Road. Someone crossed.
Benny, come here.
Someone crossed.
Come on in here.
And
no, come in here. Come here. I'm dead serious. Come here.
Brian's hijacking.
I need Benny in this shot because this counts for. Scooch over, honey. Okay. This accounts for
Special
both
guest.
my best, worst, and worst one. Everyone, I want to see my best friend here. This is Benny Dykins. Get in on this live shot. It's gonna be like 15-second delay. But anyways, we went up to London for his birthday. This counts for both the best and the worst one. So, Windsor's dog shit. They end up getting a 7 seed. This is the year of the Rio, Alu, Downey, all that shit. Windsor's up 4-1 after 2 periods. And we're like, holy fucking shit. And it's St. Patrick's Day and it's his birthday. His birthday's St. Patrick's Day. So everyone tweet out, wish him with the Fanboys like happy birthday. It's March 17th. Fuck you. Anyways. So we're up 4-1, and there's a skinhead. I'm not drunk and making this up. I swear to God, there's an actual skinhead, like 8 rows down. True?
Very true.
Skinhead, and he's looking up, and he turns around, and he goes, at us two, and a buddy who went to the fucking game. And we're like, motherfucker's gonna kick our ass. So we like huddled somewhere in the second intermission. I don't even remember where, and we were like scared shitless. And sure enough, Rob Schremp scores 3 power play goals in a row to fucking tie the game up, and then takes a dumbass penalty in overtime to negate himself from the shootout. We win in the shootout, and then we fucking hightailed it out of there. That is the only OHL game to date which I've had to buy tickets from a scalper.
Who did we see in that rink, though? Who waved hi to us and told us things were going to get better?
Oh, it was someone's parent.
No, it was Bugner and Reichel.
Oh yeah, Bob Bugner. I'm sorry, I'm drunk, buddy.
Right
Bob
before they bought
Bugner
the
and one.
team.
No, they had already bought the team
Oh.
because there's a deadline, and they're like, "Don't worry, man, things are gonna get better than this." And he like made us stay after the skinhead threw us off and everything. So 2 things: 1, Windsor beat London on St. Patrick's Day for his birthday, and 2, London has skinheads. Your point, Steve?
London has skinheads.
They do. Thanks, Benny. He's moving to Seattle. He's my best friend.
He's moving to Seattle next
I'll
week.
be at the Thunderbirds game on the 23rd.
Yeah!
So, someone asked, when we're going to Thunderbirds games. That guy, Ben, he's going to be at a Thunderbirds game in
Are you coming with me?
I'll come.
We'll do an OHL podcast from a WHL rink.
That makes sense. Because, all of our on-location podcasts go oh so smoothly.
Fuck, Keith. Let's end this shit.
Yeah, I think it's about time we hit
Get
that
to our
outro,
plugs.
hit those sweet outro music. So,
Before we get plugs, though, we gotta say thank you to our women's who are all in attendance here. Today is Valentine's Day. It is a bullshit fucking corporate holiday. If you are a real man like I am, you give your girl flowers on random ass days. Make it August 6th at 12 fucking p.m. when they're not expecting it, when they're just getting off the can, when they're not feeling in the mood, when they're on their period or something, and they're not feeling the greatest. You want them to not feel great, and then all of a sudden, you bought me flowers? I didn't expect that. That's when you're a man. Not fucking buying them when they're $35 for a fucking dozen or any bullshit like that. Be a man and do it August 6th or any other fucking random day. Make your girl feel special. Don't make her feel special because a calendar suggested bullshit. Right?
yeah.
Yeah!
Also, we gave a special thanks to girlfriends. We gotta give a special thanks to producers.
I wonder, our producer Keith. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, you're right.
No, Keith Dawson, a.k.a. doing all of the mixing on the show, fade-ins, fade-outs, but more importantly,
Starwipe Flanders in the shower. He had all the equipment, but nobody hangout she would have fucking left 2 seconds ago.
Without Keith, this is not possible. So thank you, Keith Dotson.
And I just want to mention, we all have our girls here. One is a wife, one is a fiance, one is a girlfriend. We've got the smorgasbord without having a prostitute here. Which, Ben, you should have had a prostitute here.
He has his hands.
Yeah, Jill.
Anyway, plug time, I think.
Plug time!
There goes
Valentine's Day!
Yeah, it was Valentine's Day.
You're my Valentine.
Thank you. I'm not kissing you on this show. Not doing it. Not doing it. Don't do it.
I'm not kissing you, you're fucking ugly. I do hotter guys than you.
Okay. Gotta thank, obviously, we thank you, thank the ladies. Extra special thanks. Of course, your wife, Sky, because this is her home as well as yours. Toast Manor.
She puts up with more bullshit than I can ever imagine, and I love that woman to death for it.
There you go. Applause in the
By her.
By her. Okay, obviously all of our regular clubs. First of all, I gotta thank Rogers TV in Guelph, in Barrie. We gotta thank Blue TV in Saginaw.
Motherfucker here has been on a media tour for our 33-hole listeners to get them to listen and shit, which we know we're gonna get more when we get the actual links and all that shit. Fuck you, Terry Ironmonger.
We're just seeing that tweet now that Terry is up. So
inside references to his bachelor party.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, like the media tour, they let me on TV to promote this bullcrap. So
We're blessed.
Yeah, very much so. Evil people.
We bullshit about fucking media passes and stuff. We don't. The only reason we ever talked about media passes, I want this guy to fucking. Oh, someone wants to know if Ben has a Twitter account. Yeah, it's at Ben Dykens, BenDykens. He never tweets unless he's trying to win Katy Perry tickets, so don't worry about it. But yeah, we bullshit a lot about like. Where was I going with this?
I don't know. We were talking about all my media tour.
Oh yeah, we bullshit a lot about fucking we want media passes. The only reason I want media passes is this guy travels to a lot of games to get interviews, and I don't want him to have to pay for shit. That's all. That's why we joined OTSN, so we don't have to pay bills. We're not asking for a penny from you guys, but we just don't want to have to pay the bills either. So that was, but really, a lot of these stations were like, hey, cool, you want to pimp your show and stuff like that? We'll let you on the air, and you know what? Pretend you have to. They're public broadcasting. They owe it to us.
Well, and they need segments filled.
Yeah, they. Trust me, I used to work with public television. They get desperate by this time of year. We're here to fill your desperation.
Anyway, thanks to all those channels that
ladies.
On. And hopefully we can do some more special shows in the future on back on television.
Yeah, we're not doing any more specials for a while. Not till the Memorial Cup, anyways.
Memorial Cup and Red Deer.
You're going, I hope, to at least the final. You gotta keep your final streak alive.
I'll be trying to go. Moving on with the plugs, though. Of course, you mentioned OTSN, OvertimeSportsNation.com. Gotta check those.
Read Steve's fanfic, and this week he actually gets naked with an ex-player who is now of age. Who is that ex-player? Read and find out.
Good God, Brian. Okay, we can't even do outros that would be horribly offensive.
How am I offensive? The other guy was consenting. This time. What did you do in your previous time, Steve?
Let's thank our voiceover people. Of course, our
3 of them!
3 of them on this show.
2 of which I can remember their names.
I'll go with your 2 then.
Kevin Botero, who is our new voiceover guy. He did a lot of the. He does our very first one, and of course, who's the other? Darius? No, it's not Darius.
David Danboy.
David, I knew it was a double D. Darius Dominguez, David Danboy. It's a double D name, just like I like my boobies. Anyways, Darius, he does our voiceovers, and of course, he's been battling some health scares. We wish him all the best too. He's been doing very well.
David, not Darius.
Darius, shut your mouth, Wang Chung.
And David is yes, he does the intro, the voiceover on the regular show intro. So
Yes.
Thank you to him.
Who's the third one?
I don't know. You drug up the third one.
I just added it. Logan Payette. Literally, I messaged one of my old backyard wrestling dudes, which, yeah, I'm a former backyard wrestler, and I'll not fuck you up in the future. And I'm like, do you know any deep voice dudes? He's like, yeah, this guy. Literally, the next day, he's over voicing over this thing, and all it cost me was a value meal at McDonald's. So thank you, Logan Payette. Tremendous job. I know you're
We do
not
this
watching.
podcast on the cheap. Music, of course, the band Zero Drive.
Fucking release a new album! Christ!
Zero Drive from Ramps, Ontario. They're
Are we gonna find a new band at this fucking rate?
Hey, if you've been following...
Pink Floyd takes less time to release new albums.
If you follow them on Facebook, you will see them working on new stuff.
What are they working on? Are they getting stoned and looking at the stars for concepts? Come on, Zero Drive! I need my fix, man!
They do our intro music.
Not for long!
At least until they get a new album out.
Zero Drive does the dark side of the moon.
So you can follow them on Facebook and on YouTube. Of course, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on iTunes, OHL Fanboys.
We're not on Instagram or Snapchat, so anyone sending you dick pics ain't us.
No.
Unless they're big.
Sure can't end soon enough. Okay, and of course, the personal Twitter accounts, we gotta plug all those. Toast84 for Brian Thompson.
At OHL Pucks for our man Keith Dotson.
Yeah, Keith Dotson, our producer, at OHL Pucks.
He updates every 4 months.
Yeah, for the OHL Pucks and Stripes. Let's call it a blog.
I'd say it's more of a photo collage.
Photo collage. He does good pictures.
He does excellent pictures.
I wish I took as good pictures as he does.
I was once a guest on his show, and much like the fucking Dr. Dre album, it'll be out in 20 years.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Dude, we did a live show.
We did a live show.
On Valentine's Day.
I got nothing left in here other than an ice cube, but...
Verner's?
Yeah, there we go. Whatever that is.
That's Verner's.
What the hell is Verner's?
Verner's is a Detroit delicacy. It's not ginger ale, but it's a ginger pop. Ginger soda.
Smells like puke.
It's what you drink so you don't puke.
Oh.
Try it. Everyone's trying Verner's. Verner's is the absolute Detroit delicacy. Anthony Bourdain approved.
Cheers, sir.
Cheers.
Oh, wait, at Toast84, at Steve McLean, 888.
At OHL Fanboys.
At OHL Fanboys, I was getting to that. OHLFanboys.com.
Keith paid for a website that we're never going to update.
Yeah.
It just sends you to the Podomatic site. Keith spent money on that.
Yeah. So, this episode will be coming
Katie.
You know, you watched this live, but for anyone who missed it, it will be out on Wednesday as per usual. This is episode 21 of the season. So, Wednesday is our normal day for podcasts to come out. Episode 22 will be out next Wednesday. We'll have a guest by then.
Yeah,
I swear.
we're being a little lazy because guess what? Union laws. We get a week off too, fuckers.
Yeah, we do.
No, seriously, we were talking about, oh, is this just a special and then we do a normal Wednesday episode? But really, we didn't talk about the Family Day games. Because really, you want to see me drunk, that's me trying to think of something to talk about for half an hour when there's only Family Day games and Windsor probably lost to Peterborough.
For Brian Thompson, I am Steve McLean. Thank you all so much for tuning in to our live episode. And until next time, so long, everybody.
You